Dun 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 dun. Do the who's that wrestler walk?
Conor, the Conor McGregor one.
Oh yeah. I'm Liver King Chef Lionel, and today we're making a Thanksgiving dinner for Liver King and his family. For a Thanksgiving dinner, we're gonna go ahead and make his version of a turducken, which is going to include a pig, a goat, and a turkey in the middle. We're gonna be smoking that for about 10 hours, so it's gonna be crispy on the outside, have a nice smoky flavor, but very tender on the inside. So we're gonna start off with our turkey. Since it is the smallest one, and pretty easy to remove the bones. With the poultry, we're gonna start off with the backbone, cut on each side. It's very important that we save the bones because we like using those for a fresh stock that we'll use for Liver King and his stuffing. We decided to go the non-traditional route with turducken just because it is Liver King, and as much as he likes the holidays and Thanksgiving, he also loves his red meat. And so because of that, we didn't want to keep all animals poultry. We definitely wanted to have some red meat in there, which is from the goat. We'll also have some fat in there, which is from the pig. Just finished turkey. Nice, boneless, has the skin on there, lots of flavor. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the goat. We're gonna go ahead and remove all of the meat around the bones to take out the bones cleanly. Whenever you're working with animals in general, it always helps to have a very sharp knife. A common misconception is that the sharp knives cut you, but whenever you're working with the actual meat, it's the dull knives that make you apply much more pressure, where you don't have a clean cut, and whenever you apply more pressure, that's whenever the knife tends to slip a bit more. So you always wanna ensure to have a good sharp knife, and that's gonna help in cutting the meat and avoiding injury. So we want to be very careful to be cutting around the bones, leave as little meat as possible. Kind of like this is what you're going for. Still some meat on there. That meat's going to be good, especially for broths, but don't want to leave too much meat. So this is my first time doing a turducken in this style right here. A lot of these dishes that we're cooking, a lot of the animals we're working with, it's my first time working with them. And so like this is stuff that I normally wouldn't be able to do being a normal chef. We are finished removing the bones from the goat. So we're gonna go ahead and put this aside and get working on the pig. So the only bone that I left on this goat is going to be the skull and the first vertebrae that connects that skull. That way we could have that and it'll add some more flavor towards it. Before we wrap it up, we're gonna season it. Now that we have the turkey and the goat taken care of, we're gonna go ahead and work on the pig, which is gonna be the biggest part of our Liver King turducken. So with the outside part, which is gonna be the pig, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the limbs, all four limbs intact with the bone in there. That way the outside part still has some structure towards it for the legs and the hands. There have been several dinners where, in your mind, you have one expectation of how it's gonna look, how it's gonna cook, how it's gonna taste, but whenever you actually get to it, it just doesn't come how you thought it would come out, just because of whether it be new proteins or new ways of cooking, or cooking it in different styles that you're not really comfortable with. And so that does happen sometimes. You have to accept that it will happen in the future, particularly because of all the new methods that we're using and all the new proteins that we're using, and it's all a learning process. The more you work with new proteins and new processes, the less likely you will repeat those mistakes. So it's just very important that you keep on experimenting. Okay, nice. So we are all finished removing the bones from the pig, except for the limbs, of course. Now we're gonna go ahead and take this to the ranch, wrap everything up, season it, and finish it in the smoker. Put this in here for now. Just got to Liver King Ranch. It is really early in the morning. We are getting ready to get our turducken into the smoker. Yesterday we deboned all the animals, seasoned it, wrote them together, and then stitched everything up so that way it is ready to be cooked. Here we have our Liver King Turducken. This is going to be the pig on the outside. Inside the pig is going to be the goat. What we did with the goat is we took out all the bones except for the head and the first vertebrae of the neck. And the inside of that is going to be the turkey. Now the turkey, we don't have the head anymore, but we are going to replace that with something else, with another head that we do have. So one thing that we do that I really enjoy about Liver King and his family is that they eat everything. So whenever we do get our whole animals, nothing goes to waste. The bones are used for soups, for bone broths, and for the dogs as well. All the organs are obviously eaten, and then some of the tougher parts of meat, which are normally ground up into burgers. We do ground them into burgers, but also Liver King and his family do enjoy eating that in order to maintain their jaw bones, which don't get worked out as often due to soft meats that people are usually used to eating. You can see where I stitched up the pig right here down the middle. We want to make sure that we have a good stitching with not too loose. If it is too loose, the meat will fall out while it's smoking, so that's very important in this process. I think that's too much. Probably right. Taking it to start smoking. With a Liver King Turducken, basically because it's so big, it's probably about 50 pounds worth of meat altogether. We need to smoke, and we're cooking it low and slow. We'll have to be cooking this for at least 10 hours. It's been going for about 5 hours, so you have about 5 more hours left. But it is coming along nicely. The color of the skin's coming off well. This part heated up pretty fast, so it is kind of crunchy, but that's not a bad thing. I'm really excited for this. What we're doing right now is we're removing the testicle part from the membrane. We are going to stuff these testicles, so we want to make sure to keep the membrane as intact as possible. The easiest way to do that is once you get that first slit in, especially if they're partially frozen, that makes things easier. But if they're fully thawed out, you can still do it pretty easily. After we remove the testicle part from the membrane, we're gonna go ahead and mince up the testicle. We're gonna cook that with some garlic, onion, some lemon juice, some parsley, and some salt, and some crushed up pork rinds. And then from there, we're gonna go ahead and stuff our membranes, then bake them in the oven for about 30 minutes. This is our turkey bone from earlier. Everything that we use, we don't let anything go to waste. We're using the bones that we took out from the turkey to make a turkey stock, which will be used to add more flavor to our dishes. So right now it's 9 a.m. Liver King and his family will be here at about 3 p.m. And other than the turducken that we're making, we're also gonna be making some stuffed testicles, some stuffing made from pork rinds, some yams with some Primal marshmallows, and of course some potatoes. All right, so right now I'm just gonna get the stuffing going. And so we're gonna add a little bit of ghee, garlic, and onions. Let that cook for a little bit. Then we're gonna add our testicles to it. After we cook our testicles down a bit, then we're gonna add some turkey broth to it, and some lemon juice, and some salt, and then let that cook down for a little bit to get those flavors together. And we're gonna be crushing these and adding them to our testicle mix. All the broth in here is gonna be soaked up by the pork rinds. It's gonna soak up nicely, and then it's gonna add some texture to our stuffing overall. So the last thing we're gonna add is gonna be our parsley. The parsley is gonna help complement that citrus flavor that we added from the lemon. And if you do see that it's a little dry without too much water at the bottom, we're gonna add a little more turkey broth to it, and that should fix it. I'm gonna stuff the testicle membranes with the testicle stuffing that we made from earlier. I'm just gonna go ahead and fill these up and then sew them together. Once we sew them together, we're gonna go ahead and throw them in the oven. Normally, whenever we eat testicles raw, you would only eat the inside part of it, but because we are cooking it, we will be able to eat the membrane at this point. But what the membrane does is it keeps all of the moisture inside, so that way, as the stuffing cooks, it's gonna be very moist and very flavorful. Now we're getting the russet potatoes ready to make some mashed potatoes. We're gonna boil up our potatoes, get them nice and soft, and then we're gonna mix them up with some butter that's gonna be cooked with some garlic, salt, and a little bit of rosemary also. What we're cooking right now is going to be the cranberry sauce for Liver King and his family. This is a very simple recipe, but very flavorful and goes great for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So we're gonna add maple syrup. It's about 4 tablespoons of maple syrup. And then we're gonna add our fresh cranberries. You know fresh cranberries are fresh by how it bounces. If it has a good bounce to it, that means they're fresh. If it does not have a good bounce to it, they won't be as fresh. And so that's a good telltale sign. So we're gonna add those in there. And then also in there is gonna be some orange slices. The orange is gonna help add some acidity, but not being too tart because the cranberry is already tart. So it's gonna add some sweetness to it. And the orange rinds are gonna add some more of that orange flavor to it. Now that we added the oranges, the cranberries, and the syrup to the pot, we're gonna reduce the temperature down to medium heat, and then we're gonna let that cook for 30 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and check our stuffed testicles. As you can see, they're coming along nicely. The membranes are squeezing around the stuffed testicles, and a lot of the juice is coming out. So that's what we expected, and that's what we want. We are transferring this from the grill to the smoker to finish off cooking. We have that nice grill to it. Now we're gonna have a nice smoky flavor to it. We've been cooking our Liver King Turducken for 10 hours, and I think it is just about ready. Let's check it out. Still very smoky, a lot of flavor in there. I love the way this looks. The color is beautiful. It definitely has that nice outside brownish smokiness, and it looks really soft on the inside. Let's go ahead and try it out. Great smoke ring. That's smoky, flavorful, and very tender. I know Liver King and his family are gonna love this. Right now we have Liver King about 5 or 10 minutes away. The issue is that we are scrambling to find a presenting board for our big pig. Our plan is to show the cross-section of our Liver King Turducken. And in order to do that, what we're doing is we need to cut this board. That way we could set the pig on the board, and then we could show the cross-section nicely on it. We got 5 minutes. One, two, three, boom. My idea is to have the cross section showing, that way people can know that we have 3 types of protein in here, which is going to be the turkey, the goat, and the pig. We just saw Liver King's truck pull in, so we are about to start setting up everything before he gets in. Over here. We have the, what's it called again?
That's a goat.
Pig, goat, and then the poultry.
That's called food.
Yeah. And then here's so our plan is to have the heads right here, and then the feet, because we have the poultry feet right here. And then after, I'll be able to show the cross section, which shows the turkey, the goat, and the pig, all cooked into there.
That looks great, man. I got 15 minutes of push-ups upstairs.
Okay, sounds good. We'll take care of this, and we'll be ready in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Liver King is doing his 15 minutes of push-ups before he actually eats. He did look at the setup. He got his initial okay with it, so I'm really happy about that. But we still have a long way to go for the total setup of the table.
Primals need to know how hard Liver King Chef Lionel works on Thanksgiving.
I'm Liver King Chef Lionel, and for Thanksgiving, Liver King requested a turducken, which is gonna be a chicken stuffed inside a duck, which is stuffed inside a turkey. But of course, for Liver King, we took it up a notch. We're gonna have a turkey stuffed inside a goat, stuffed inside a pig. We smoked that for 10 hours, so you know it's gonna be very flavorful and very soft. With every dinner, we're gonna have our liver, testicles, and bone marrow, because that's what you need to kick ass in life. We also have some stuffed testicles. These are the membranes of the testicles, stuffed with some really primal goodness. We're gonna have some mashed sweet potatoes, regular mashed potatoes, and of course some cranberry sauce. And of course you can't have a Thanksgiving feast without some primal stuffing. And to bring everything together, we have a tzatziki sauce. That's what we're having for dinner tonight. Liver King Chef Lionel, out! So right now we are crunch time to get everyone served. We have Liver King's parents here, and I want to make sure that they're taken extra great care of. Of course, we take care of all our guests coming to Liver King Ranch, but it is the parents, so extra emphasis on that. We have a whole smoked pig, goat, turkey. We've been smoking that for 10 hours, so we're cutting that right now. Aside from that, we're gonna have some mashed sweet potato. I'm sorry? I love pig. Oh, me too. We have some mashed sweet potatoes, regular mashed potatoes, and this right here is gonna be a stuffing, but we use pork rinds instead of bread. And then we have a tzatziki sauce, which is a yogurt sauce that goes really good with the goat. And then we have some homemade cranberry sauce as well. I'll be cutting the smoked pig and the smoked turducken. I'll be coming around serving y'all, but if y'all need anything else, just let us know while we're walking around. Liver King? We have turkey, pig, goat.
You know what to do.
Everything. We'll get the crispy part first of the pig.
Oh, yes. Primal! That looks great.
Turkey, a little bit of goat.
Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
I'll take it.
I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Pork.
Here you go. You're very welcome. Would you like some more?
No, that's great. Thank
Okay.
And I'll just take one of those.
you.
So we finished serving everything. It looks like everyone is eating really well, which I'm really happy about. They're very complimentary about the flavors and the presentation in general. I'm really happy about that. It looks like Liver King's really happy about that. So all in all, great dinner. I was really happy with the way that the presentation came out and the flavor came out also. We did come here really early in order to start smoking it, but I don't mind putting in those extra hours to bring out that extra flavor or that extra presentation. From the Liver King team to your family, we wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.